Hi my dear friends, welcome back again. In our previous video, I talked about the types of mechanics and what is a mechanic. Now in this video, our topic will be chemical reactions. The chemical reactions. So what we will discuss in this video, we will learn that what is a change, what are the types of changes, what are the types of chemical reactions, then their scientific names, the scientific names for chemical reactions, and then their chemical properties also. What does happen? Now we need to know what is a change. So in our daily life we observe many changes around us. Yeah, that's right. Everything in this universe undergoes a change. We can see many changes around us. It, they may be observed at school, home, playground, garden, or at any other place. For example, sudden changes in weather, flowering of plants, melting of ice, ripening of fruits, drying of clothes, milk changing into curd, germination of seeds, cooking of food, rusting of iron, bursting of crackers, etc. There are many different types of changes. These are the common changes that occur in day-to-day life. But there can be many other changes also. So now we are going to learn the types of changes. And then the types of changes can be categorized into many parts. So I am going to discuss only about the 5 parts, but we can also make our own changes. We can give our own name. We can produce a change. There are infinite number of changes, but here I am going to talk about the 5 main changes. The first will be based on time. The second will be based on repetition. The third will be based on effect of human or nature. Then the based on direction, and then the third one would be based on the formation of new substances. Now what are these? See, based on time, they can be slow changes or fast changes. Based on repetition, they can be periodic changes or non-periodic changes. In based of effect or nature or human, it can be desirable or undesirable changes. Based on direction, one can be reversed, one cannot be reversed, reversible and irreversible. And based on the formation of new substance, that is physical changes and chemical changes. So mostly we are going to talk about physical and chemical changes in the video. But let me tell you the few of the examples here now. The slow changes. The slow changes are those changes which take a longer period of time to change. For example, rusting of iron. The iron takes many years to rust. And the dead body which converts to fossil, it also takes many time, too much of time. Then the fast changes, those changes which happen suddenly or within a few minutes, few times. It does not take so much of time. It is known as the fast changes. For example, the burning of paper and the matchstick catching a fire. Whenever we rub the matchstick with the matchbox, it suddenly catches a fire. Thus, it is a fast change. Then the third, periodic changes. Periodic changes. Any idea? Periodic changes are those changes which happen periodically at the same time, and at the same point. For example, the rotation of Earth. The Earth rotates around itself in 24 hours, and every day it is constant. It always rotates around itself using 24 hours. It is not today 24 hours, next day 23 hours, next day 23 and a half hours. It is always fixed. And at a fixed time, it is coming here. That at a fixed time, we are getting night, and at the same time, we are getting night in the next day. So that's why it is a periodic changes. Even the causing of seasons. Causing of seasons causes due to the revolution of Earth around the sun. And always, seasons start in the fixed time. That in a May, this month, it may be summer season, and then next year, at current this month, it may be summer season, Or if now we take it is rainy season, then on the next year, at the same time, today's time, it will be rainy season. That's why it is a periodic change. And then the fourth one is the opposite of that, non-periodic changes. Non-periodic changes, like earthquake, it happens anytime. No one can say when it will happen. But if I take about the causing of seasons, we know that in June we will have rain because always in June we are having rain in India. But these are the non-periodic changes. This can happen anytime. That today it will happen, and then after the 2 days it will happen. Then next time it will happen after 5 years, and then again within a second. Then also sneezing. Sneezing comes immediately. We immediately sneeze wherever it comes. Then the reversible changes. They are the changes which can be reversed from one phase to another or from one part to another part. Like the ice to water. When we convert ice to water, we can also reverse it. Again, we can change the water back to the same ice. But in irreversible changes, we cannot change them or we cannot reverse them. For example, the burning of paper. Once the paper is burnt, it will go away, and now I cannot bring back my own paper or my original paper. Even the cooking of rice. Once I take a raw rice and then cook it, then I will never get my again old rice, right? And also, I have not given or I have not mentioned the examples of desirable and undesirable changes. I have forgot that. Okay, so desirable changes are those changes which we can do. Whenever we want, we will do. For example, I tell that I want to drink a tea. That is a desirable change, that I drank the tea. So you understood. Desirable is nothing but whenever we want, we can do the change. Right now, I am sitting here, and whenever I want, I can sit here. It is a desirable changes. But suppose the blinking of heart. Heart always beats like this, tuck, tuck. I don't have the control on it. It always goes. So it is undesirable changes because we don't think that it will happen now, or we don't think about it that I will do it now or not. It automatically goes away, goes. It happens. So they are also known as the desirable changes, and the opposite of it is undesirable changes. Now the main part, the physical and the chemical changes. Okay. The physical changes. A change which alters some specific property of matter without any change in the composition of its molecules is called a physical change. Physical change is also equal to reversible changes. It can be reversed. And also, the mass is not changed. Mass is the same. And the thing is also the same. If I convert ice to water, it is a physical change because it is the same ice that I have converted, only I have converted to water. But I have not changed the whole thing. So it is a chemical change. It is also temporary because it can be reversed and it is not forming a new substance that I told. It is not forming a new substance. Ice to water, I have just converted it to water. But it is the same ice that I have converted to water. And no new substance is formed during the composition, and properties of the original substance is also not changed. The properties are also same. If I change the ice to water, then also the properties of ice will be same. It will not change at all. But the opposite things happens with the chemical changes. Chemical changes is permanent. Only a few times it can be reversed, or most of the times it cannot be reversed. The same example here you can see the burning of paper. Once it is burned, you cannot bring it back. It is also a chemical change. Cooking of rice can also come in irreversible changes and in chemical changes. There are many examples which come under 3 or 4 different types of changes. Now, cooking of rice, if I take, it is irreversible change and a chemical change. There are many examples if you take. Suppose it will come in non-periodic, it will come in periodic. Like now, the beating of heart. That is also a periodic change because it happens in time to time. So the beating of heart is also a periodic change and an undesirable change. Okay. When, but it is permanent, it is irreversible change, and a new substance is formed directly. When I burn the paper, it changes into carbon dioxide and little bit of ash. So new substance is formed. And if a new substance is formed, then surely the properties will change. Now see, the physical changes. The characteristics of physical changes. No new substances are formed during the physical change. We know physical changes can be generally reversed. Most of all the physical changes can be reversed. There is no change in weight during the physical change. Only a little heat is absorbed or given off during the physical change, if there is any. But the opposite things happen with the opposite change, the chemical change. When a chemical change occurs, an entirely new substance is formed. And I also told that if it is a new substance, surely the properties will change. Chemical changes cannot be easily reversed. Few of the changes are also chemical changes and they can be reversed. But most of the changes cannot be reversed. You can say 97% of chemical changes cannot be reversed. Only 3% of the changes can be reversed. Then there is a usually in change of weight. The weight also changes. But if I convert ice to water, the weight is same. But if I convert or if I burn the paper weight of the paper will be something, and once it converts to ash or to air, the air will get lighter. And lot of heat is usually given off or absorbed during the chemical change. Okay, now the main topic, the scientific names for chemical reactions. Now let me tell you the first, what are the types of chemical reactions? There are 4 types of chemical reactions: the combination reaction, the decomposition reaction, the displacement reaction, and the double displacement or the double decomposition reaction. In this line I am saying this line. But now I am going to tell the scientific names. Scientific names for all the reactions. The first reaction is the combination reaction, and its scientific name is the synthesis reaction. The decomposition reaction is also known as the analysis reaction. The displacement reaction is not having a scientific name at all. And the double displacement or the double decomposition reaction is also known as the metathesis reaction. Now the synthesis reaction, what happens in it? And I also told synthesis reaction is a combination reaction. I think you would be guessing with the name combination. It combines, right? Yes. In this reaction, 2 or more substances combine to form one new substance. For example, hydrogen plus oxygen forms H2O, which is water. And carbon plus oxide or oxygen, carbon dioxide, it forms carbon dioxide. This comes under synthesis reaction. In the second reaction, it is also opposite of synthesis reaction. This reaction is opposite of synthesis reaction. And a compound, in this reaction, a compound decomposes or breaks down into 2 or more substances. Now if you take the example of water, H2O. H2O can't be decomposed to H2 plus HO. Sorry. It can't be decomposed or it can't be broke down to hydrogen plus oxygen because thus it does not come in analysis reaction. And I cannot also tell that why it is not in analysis reaction. I need to check it. So in analysis reactions, the few examples are the calcium carbonate, CaCO3, which is calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. This can be broken down. Then the third is the displacement reaction. In this reaction, when a more reactive element displaces, then a less reactive element forms its compound. Then the reaction is called chemical displacement reaction. Then, for example, the zinc plus copper sulfate will be copper plus zinc sulfate. Now why? See this. Then note that, please note this, the order of the chemical reactions also matters, right? Okay, so you need to remember this much that, one second, these are the list of the metals in order of the decreasing chemical reactivity. Those who react, right? The potassium, it reacts the greatest, highest. Then the sodium, then the calcium, then the magnesium, then the aluminium, then zinc, then iron, then lead, then hydrogen, then copper, then the Hg, which is the hydrogen or mercury, then something, then iron or the gold, and then the platinum. And these are the non-metals. The first is fluorine, then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. These are the list of metals and non-metals that I have given in the decreasing chemical reactivity. Like this, in metals, in non-metals, if you see, the fluorine reacts the highest, then the smallest is iodine, and the middle two are the chlorine and bromine. Using this, I can say that zinc plus copper sulfate, zinc plus copper sulfate will be zinc sulfate plus copper, because copper is the less reactivity, so it will throw out the copper, and zinc will take the sulfate or the sulfur from copper. So now zinc plus copper sulfate will become zinc sulfate plus copper. As it reacts highest, the zinc reacts more, and so that is the reason the zinc pull out the things that this copper has. See, you can see here. See here, the first one is the zinc. The first one here is the zinc, and then the next one is the copper. So zinc reacts more than copper. As this I have written in decreasing order. So the zinc reacts more, the higher, and then the copper reacts the lesser. So that is why zinc plus copper sulfate will become zinc sulfate plus copper. The sulfur zinc will pull out from copper. Now see the next, the metathesis reaction. Metathesis reaction, yes, or the double decomposition or the double displacement reaction. In this metathesis reaction, two compounds in their aqueous solution. In the solution, react by exchanging their ions. They exchange the ions. It is called double decomposition or double displacement reactions. They just exchange their ions by others. And also, this is of two types. The two types are there. Do you know? These are of two types. Let me tell you the two types. The two types are, the first one is the neutralization reaction. Yes, these two types are inside metathesis reaction. These two are not different. They are the sub points you can think. They come under metathesis reaction. The metathesis reaction are of two types. The metathesis reaction is of first one neutralization reaction, and then the second one will be your precipitation reaction. Now let me talk about it one by one. The neutralization reaction. In this reaction, the reaction in which an acid reacts with a base. The bases and the acids react to form salt and water. is a neutralization reaction. It always converts or comes to its neutral position, the salt plus water. Suppose the example I take is sodium hydroxide NaOH plus HCl, the hydrochloric acid. Then if I take it, then the Na sodium plus Cl, the chlorine is here. If sodium and chlorine mix together, it will form NaCl, NaCl, this one, which is the salt, common salt. And then the left over, this is Cl, and then O is remain, O comes here, O, and there are two H. This is one H, wait, there are two H. This is the one H, and this is the second H. That is why there are two H, H2, and then this O comes with the H, or the hydrogen. And that is why this is known as a neutralization reaction. Whatever you take, it changes to salt and water. That time it is known as the neutralization reaction. And not only this much, or else you will be thinking that only one example is for neutralization reaction. No, it's wrong. There are many types of salts and waters also. Water is only H2O. But salt, the common salt that we eat is NaCl. But actually, salt are of many other things also. This is the salt we eat. That's why we always think that this is that salt. Only salt. But there are many salts. You can just search it. So this is the neutralization reaction. Then the second reaction, the precipitation reaction. In this reaction, the two solutions react to form a precipitate or an insoluble solid. It is known as a precipitation reaction. Let me show you the examples. Okay, the first one, the previous one, forgot to tell you that in this example, the NaOH, sodium hydroxide, is the base and the hydrochloric acid is the acid. These one. This is a base and this is the acid. And base plus acid is equal to salt plus water. That. So in the second one, the examples are the first one. Wait. The silver nitrate, AgNO3, silver nitrate plus sodium chloride, NaCl, the common salt, is equal to silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. It also does the same thing like the metathesis reaction does. Displacement reaction. One pulls the other. Now in this reaction, it is not pulling. It is only trying to precipitate and to form an insoluble solid. Right? For example, the silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. It will never mix. It will never solve. You try to mix at multiple times, but it will never mix. For example, the same thing happens with oil and water. If I put oil in water and I mix it hard, how many times it may mix? But the oil will float and the water will go down. And it will never mix. The same thing happens with these things. The precipitation reaction. So thank you. Thank you for watching the video. This thing. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. Okay. Thank you.